Greetings, students. Today we're going to discuss quiz number 7 practice. Let's begin. So, question 1. Describe the transformations. Multiple choice questions describing the transformations. What we're looking at here is h, k, and a. So we have a equals h equals k equals. Well, a here is 1 because the coefficient in front of the absolute value in this case is a 1. H is also 1 because it's always opposite of what's written. And then k is 1 as well. So what does each of these do? Well, a being 1 doesn't change the base graph. It's the same as the base graph. But h being 1 moves it right 1, its vertex. And k being 1 moves it up 1, the vertex. So we're looking for translate right 1, translate up 1. Option A. So if it was left 1, this would be plus 1. Then this would be minus 1, down 1. If it was left 1 again, it would be plus 1. If it was a reflection, it would have a negative here. The A would be negative, in other words. And then, of course, down 3 would be minus 3 at the end. All right, question 2. So again, we're doing A, H, and K. A is negative 1 this time. H is negative 2. Again, H is always opposite of what's written. And K is 0. So K is not changing the base graph. But H is moving it left 2. And A is doing a reflection. In this case, we could say horizontally or across the x-axis, on the x-axis. So we're looking for left 2 and reflect on the x-axis. Right here. So let's discuss the rest of these. Reflection in the y-axis is going to be, instead of this way, it's going to be with a x equals parabola, because a y-axis reflection would be flipping horizontally instead of vertically, like these have been doing in class. So this y-axis reflection is just a distractor, really. Down 2 units would be minus 2 at the end, and right 2 units would be minus 2 inside. All right, question 3. Move it down a little bit. A is 1, H is 1, and K is negative 3. So we're looking for, here we're looking for right 1, down 3. Right 1, down 3. All right, right 1, down 3. There it is, option A. Right 3, up 1 would be a minus 3 and a plus 1 instead. Minus 3 here, and a plus 1 here. Right 3 and down 1 would be a minus 3 and then a minus 1 here. And then left 3, down 1 would be a plus 3, minus 1 for each of those translations. Right here, we got A equals 3, H equals 3, and K is equal to nothing. So we got a right 3. And then this is going to be what's called expansion. Expanding or stretching by 3, by factor 3. So we're looking for right 3 and an expansion vertical by a factor of 3. So this one's right 3, this one's up 3, down 3, up 3. Again, if it was up 3, it'd be plus 3 at the end here. So that gets out rid of those two. If it was minus 3, it'd be minus 3 at the end here. So I did kind of make this easier to pick what the answer would be. Again, it's expansion, not compression. Compression is shrinking. Expansion is stretching. If those are the words that we used instead in class. The program I was using here, that's the words they use. Expand and compress instead of stretch. Instead of the stretch word we used, which I believe is what we used in class. All right. So let's look at these next ones. Some of these next ones that have weird equations. I kind of did that on purpose with some weird ones in here. So here, H and K is what I have here. Left 2, down 3. So H is equal to 2, negative. And K is equal to negative 3. So I want negative 3 at the end. And inside here, I want a plus 2, A. We can talk about the rest of these. The rest of these, this is a compression, a compression by a third, go factor of 3. And this is a left 3. This is an expansion by 3. And then this is left 3. This is left 2 and up 3. This last one, D. All right, expand vertically by a factor of 3. So that tells me A is equal to 3. Translate down 1. That tells me K is equal to negative 1. So I'm looking for letter B. This would be a compression vertically. Option C would be a compression. Compression by the same factor 3. All right, moving along. Page 2. Sorry about the sound again if it's bad. I'm trying to get better with this mic. I think it's my sound card on the computer at school. But we'll see. Anyways, question 7. Reflect on the x-axis and then translate left 2. So left 2 tells me h equals -2, which is looking like this one right here because the rest of these h is +2 on this one. There's no h here, and then this one, there's no h on that one either. So I've already picked the right answer. And again, the reflection horizontally or on the x-axis is going to be -1 for A, so option D. All right. Question 8. Compress vertically by a factor of 2. That tells me that's a half. And the reflection tells me it's negative. A is a -1/2. There it is, right there, B. So again, compression vertically by a factor of 2, this tells me it's a half compressed instead of expanded. Sorry. Should have probably zoomed out just a tad bit so you can see the whole thing I was running. So compression by a factor of 2, reflecting in the x-axis 1/2. All right, next things. Combination functions. So find h of g of n. We're going to put g of n in for n on h of n. So g of n goes into h of n, not the other way around here. So we have here 4n plus 3 quantity squared plus 1. This is a binomial that we need to square. So we have 4n times 4n, that's 16n squared. 4n times 3, there's going to be 2 of those. So that's going to be plus 12n plus 12n. 3 times 3 is going to be one of those. That's going to be 9 plus 1. So I have 16n squared plus 24n plus 10. Again, this 4n plus 3 is 4n plus 3 times itself. All right, here, h of t is going to go in for t on g of t. So I'm going to have 3 times the quantity 2t minus 5 plus 5. What's happening again is we're replacing t with the other function. In this case, we're replacing t with what h of t is equal to. Replacement, substitution. Distribute 6t minus 15 plus 5 is 6t minus 10. Oh, sorry. This is supposed to be times. I was going to fix this on the practice as well. So it looks like an O. Sorry. Yeah, that's supposed to be a times. I'll remind you on the test too, and then you can see here there was no answer that matched it when I did g of h of t. It was supposed to be times. It's a binomial distribution again. I'll remind you on the test too, since I mixed it up on the practice or the review here. But there was no option that matched my answer, so I should have known that to start. So that's a 6t squared minus 15t plus 10t minus 25. Negative 15 plus 10t, negative 5t. Good, option A. This one's asking you to add. You can only combine like terms though. So x squared doesn't have anything to combine with. It's going to be in the front still. 4x doesn't have anything to combine with. It's going to be after the x squared. Minus 4 plus 4 is 0. So this one's just asking you add x squared. So there's 0x on this, so plus 0x plus 4. And then there's a 4x plus 4 minus 4. I'm just adding straight down. These cancel. X squared plus 4x is my answer. All right. And if it was a minus, I would just change the signs on the second equation. I'd make it negative 4x and negative 4. So if it was a minus, it would be x squared minus 4x minus 8. All right. All right, find the inverse function. So these are set up in function format. So we're going to switch these to switch these two items. If you want to call this y and this n, you can call it y and n. But again, you got to switch them, and then you got to solve for the new y variable. So I have here y is equal to negative 5, and I'm going to switch. This is the original. I'm going to switch y and n. N equals negative 5y. This is the inverse right here, but I need to solve it for y. so I can get it in the function format because I've left my answers, I put my answers in function format, not in equation format like this. I'm dividing by -5, dividing by -5, and this is the inverse now. So this is y equals, which is, we're going to change back to f of n, and it's now the inverse of f of n is a over -5. So there it is right there, option C. Here's a little easier because I used y and x. So my original is y is equal to 2x cubed plus 1. This is again the original. All I've done is switch the f of x, or g of x in this case, to a y. I'm going to switch x and y around now. So it's going to become x is equal to 2y cubed, not squared, cubed, plus 1. So this is the inverse, but because I put all my answers in function format, I have to solve this for y because my answers are in function format. So now I'm going to solve this for y by taking away 1 from each side. So x minus 1 is equal to 2y cubed, dividing each side by 2. Y cubed equals x minus 1 divided by 2. And then cube rooting both sides. So to undo this cubed, I'm going to do a cubed root. Third root. Third root. So the inverse of this g of x, so g negative 1x is equal to the cubed root, the third root, that's why this 3 is here, of x minus 1 over 2. Option B. All right, cool. So again, I kind of want this out of 50, since that's what I said it was on the assignment sheet, so I'm going to make it 4 points each, so it'll be 52 total. Make it out of 52, half as much as the test. If you're struggling, come by and ask me some questions. Again, on this number 10, I will, on the test, remind you that's timesing, not g of h of t. And I'll try to make that more specific. I'll just tell you before the test, and I'll remind you on this one, this is the combination function, where you're substituting one to the other. Good luck.